And one place that really doesn't appeal to me, Mike, is Swindon, but I have a feeling you've got different thoughts about it.
Oh, yes. Swindon is the odd town out in our region, the Darlington of the southwest, a place one travels through but never goes to. Moreover, there's been a huge influx of population during the last generation, and when a high proportion of people feel themselves to be foreigners, you can expect trouble. In fact, there has been none. Swindon is prosperous, enterprising and successful. Perhaps because it's not dominated by its past, it's created new buildings which people flock to use now, which I'm sure tourists will be coming to see in 100 years' time. We're standing in the cemetery which looks over the town, and one can see quite clearly the relationship between the old railway part of the town and the new town that's grown up in the last 15 or so years. You can see it's a sprawling, I hesitate to say the word mess, but really it is a little bit of a mess. And I think that what one needs in a situation like that is some vertical accent. It's what the medieval cathedrals used to do. It's what, for example, only just down the road, Salisbury Cathedral does for Salisbury. And that's what we have here. I think supremely well done, this tall, shining tower. So many people hate tall buildings, and so many tall buildings are loathsome. I don't think this one is. I think this is really one of the best in the country. There are new shopping centres all over Great Britain, most of them pretty boring. This particular one seems to me to be about the best, certainly the best I've ever seen. I feel that if I'm going to do a day's shopping, not just going out to buy a pound of potatoes or something, if I'm going to do a day's shopping, this is the way I'd like to do it. I find this stimulating and exciting. I think it's a marvellous place to bring the children, and it's very ingenious the way it's all worked out. I don't know what it is quite. It's difficult always to say what it is that pleases one. It's terribly easy always to say what you hate. It's its modernity, its absolutely frank acceptance of modern materials like glass and plastic and stainless steel. It's so redolent of the 20th century, and in Bath, for example, that would be a foul thing to do. But in Swindon, it somehow seems to be absolutely right. Swindon is the home of railway engineering. Somehow you expect to see here great engineering, and this is great engineering under any circumstances. It's that and the bustle of people and so on, who obviously like it. They may sometimes say they don't, but they use it, and that's the test of architecture, if people use it voluntarily, and they're doing that here. There's obviously a story here, because this canopy runs all the way around the building, protecting people from the rain, and here, outside Marks & Spencer's, it stops. I understand the story is that Marks & Spencer's, alone of all the people who were here before, refused resolutely to sell their freehold. I can't blame them. I would like to own a freehold here very much. And, of course, the interruption to the pattern is actually, I think, very welcome. An insistent, powerful discipline of this sort, when broken just once, is very attractive. Not everything in Swindon is a success. This, clearly, was a splendid building with a lovely portico, and to have destroyed this is pretty unforgivable. I understand it's needed because there's some great new development coming. I can't see any reason why the portico couldn't have been fitted in just as Marks & Spencer's were fitted in, and this is a very much better building than Marks & Spencer's. There's a bit of a story here, though, which is slightly amusing, and a tragedy. If you notice, all the stones have been numbered. Some unfortunate character bought the facade, and he was going to erect it on his estate in Wiltshire. The planners here were delighted to see it go. The planners there said, not at all. We don't want a folly in our countryside, and they just won't allow it. So this poor fellow is left with several tons of Doric columns, nothing to do with them. Taken by itself, this mural is not a very profound or expertly executed piece of work. It's fairly ordinary, but its effect upon the place in which it's been put is extraordinarily successful. This enormously over life-size locomotive pounding forward across all these cars, most bizarre surrealist experience, has a power and a drama which manages to lift this boring, tatty municipal car park in a forgotten corner of Swindon into an experience which anybody who's seen will never forget.